Welcome back, everyone, to the Moms Like Me podcast powered by Support Now. Today's episode is going to be one that is truly one of my favorites because not only do I get to talk to a mom, I also get to talk to an entrepreneur. And it's rare that, both are true on conversations like this. So I would love to introduce everybody to Jamie O'Neill, the CEO of Mom Walk Collective, an incredible mom. Jamie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. So thanks for asking me to come on, share my story, and get to tell other moms and hopefully normalize some things in their life for them to feel a little more empowered.
Love it, Jamie. If there's one thing I know about moms, we love to talk and we love to walk. And you have become the master of those two things. But before you created Mom Walk, I know your origin story. I know the heart and the inspiration behind this. But I'd love for people that don't know you and don't know your story for them to learn it from you firsthand.
Yeah. All of the Mom Walk Collective was actually an accident story. It was never something that I had sat down, dreamed up, strategized. It really started in my deep need for community. When I was pregnant, I was going through a divorce after being married 5 years and having a lot of conversations with my midwife around my mental health. I had a prior history of mental health even before coming pregnant, and it was a big concern of my family and wanted something that I wanted to be prepared for. So as I was pregnant, we had a lot of just like, how can we build tools in your tool belt? And one of the things that we had decided on is the fact that what makes me come alive is getting outside, getting in the sun, and getting a little movement in. And my midwife, quote unquote, prescribed me to get out of the house every day and just go for a walk. Well, someone who's struggling with mental health, that task sometimes can feel really overwhelming. So we incentivized me with going and buying a coffee out every day. So postpartum, now as a new mom, a single mom, I was going out and walking every single day by myself, getting a coffee, coming back, and it just was lonely. So I was like, well, I am meeting people through social media. There's got to be other moms around me that are in the same season of motherhood. So I'm just going to put a video out and see if anyone wants to join me. The 3 months postpartum, put a video on the internet, said, hey, if any local moms want to get a coffee and go for a walk, I'm going to be here. Come meet me. I had 2 moms meet me, and that conversation changed my life. These moms normalized so many of the experiences I was having postpartum, whether it was simple as like the feeling of exhaustion or even more in depth of, the maternal mental health symptoms that I was going through that I had never heard talked about in public before. And I walked out of that walk just feeling like I could do anything as a mom. It was like one of those things where I was like, oh, like this is great. This is cool. And there is a community that can relate to. So posted a recap video of the walk. It went viral and I continued to host walks. By my 3rd walk, I had 50 women show up, which was wild. And this is the time before run clubs, before social things. Like this wasn't a trend yet. So I knew that there must be something really different. And I had people every recap video being like, how do I start this in my city? This is insane. Like, let's do this. So August of 2022, I officially launched the collective, and it all stemmed from after that 3rd walk of really questioning, what is this? I felt like deep in my spirit that it's time to serve moms. So that is what the Mom Walk Collective is we are an organization that is to create that safe space to serve moms in motherhood. We're not going to tell you how to parent. We're not going to tell you what to think, feel, decisions to make. We're just replicating that first ever walk experience I had, was to get out of the house, to be around other moms that are in same seasons, and for you to hopefully find people to do life with, find that village so then you can help raise the next generation. And there's been some crazy just like gifting or favor on it, which I still can't even explain, where in the 2.5 years that we've been going, we're now in over 300 cities. And it's just that reminder of so many moms are just wanting the same thing. They're just wanting a catch-free environment. We always keep it free for them to get out of the house and hopefully find friends, but if not, just have a positive, safe space to explore motherhood.
I think it's such a great example of, so many people want to start companies because they want to be a CEO or they want to be a founder. You started a company because you wanted to solve a problem, which has allowed you to stay so dedicated and so true to your mission because you are your customer, which I just think is such a unique perspective and such a special one. And it's a testament to why and how you've grown the way you are. My first question for you is, you talk a lot, and I agree with this, by the way, around this concept of loneliness and moms feeling overwhelmed and kind of isolated. Why, in your opinion, is that the case? And do you think that the problem is worse today than it was when our moms were raising us?
Yeah. No, it's a really great question. The more I've attended more cities and more locations, this is the same concept everywhere. And it's not a one size fits all. I think I've learned from so many different walks of life, motherhood looks different for everyone. But that same common thing of loneliness is so dominant. And it's through multiple factors. One, you may be the first one out of your friend group, family, whatever, to have children, which I can like raise my hand and say I was so judgmental of parents of just like not knowing and understanding until you become a mom. I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Like the best statement ever that I think about that I used to say is like, well, why don't you just have the sitter put them down? Like they can put them to sleep. Like, what? It seems so simple, but like it's little things like that it as a parent, these tasks that to society feel so normal and so simple actually have so many complex. So it's, that thing being the first one. The other is maybe you moved to a new place. You don't have family around, you don't have friends around. So now you're raising a family and you have no support. The other is maybe you're making a big transition and leaving the workforce, of having that routine of going into the office and creating and producing. And now the creating and producing is within the house and it looks so different that way. And you don't know, you've never had that before. So there's that aspect. And there's all these different factors that could create that feeling of loneliness or isolation. And they all are looking for the same answer, is just to be normalized. No, like, yes, we're solving the issue, that we're giving them a space to like have an opportunity outside the house or have an opportunity to meet some people or have some great conversation. But a lot of the time what I feel is people just want to be validated in that feeling and experience. And the validation alone just makes them feel so empowered as a mom. And one thing I say all the time is I didn't create anything new or like monumental or like crazy, because I'm even getting emails of my mom's moms, so these grandparents who had these same type of organizations and groups, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but instead of using social media, I'm literally getting clips of newspaper articles of mom walking groups and, things in the phone book that you can call and find the meeting location, where I think this journey of evolution as a human, becoming a single person to a parent, where part of you feels, you're raising life and you have that responsibility, has been relatable for so long. And I feel like we're actually improving versus, what our parents went through because of the access of positive social media. And that's where, I'm a big advocate that social media can be an amazing tool if used correctly. But I think this has always been going around, and now there's just more opportunity because we have more visibility and more ways of communication.
Yeah, I think I had to smile at one of the things you said, because I think we all have those moments of looking back, those cringeworthy phrases or even just thoughts that we've had around moms that we've seen when you're not yet a mom. I'll have to share one of mine where I adore my niece and nephew and I admire greatly my sister-in-law. And before I was a kid, I remember thinking, we won't bribe like that, will we? Where you're trying to get one family picture and you're offering, something to get them to, calm down. And now I think that like, how could I ever, and I don't even think I said this to her face, which may be even worse, right? Where it's like, how could I even ever think that? Because any mom out there who's ever tried to get professional photos or just a family picture with, so your grandparents or your parents have a good picture with your kids. We all know how pulling teeth, that can feel like pulling teeth. So I love that. I think that's true. And I also think I love your outlook on that. In some ways it is easier for moms now because we have access to so much. But something that you said in so many words is that effectively what's happening for a lot of the moms that you're meeting and that you're cultivating is that everyone's going through their own identity crisis. For some, it's the identity crisis of going from not being a mom to a mom. For some, it's that plus maybe leaving the workforce. Of course, the dynamics with a significant other. In your case, it was even particularly unique. And I think, I think of a phrase that one of my friends told me after she had her baby. She said, it's like you die and you come back and you're living a new life. And I'm like, yeah, because you're kind of like reborn when you become a mom. I really value your perspective on that, and really just the humility of understanding that you're not starting something new, but the way you're mobilizing people is different and is fun and is unique.
Yeah, thanks. It's one of those things where I think even talking on the identity aspect, there's so many different opinions on like getting back to the old you or tapping into the old new or like just leaving the old you behind or all of that, where I think my eyes have been so open, having thousands of conversations with thousands of different women on that whole topic in itself, because I think there is no like you are becoming a new person or you still have the old person in you. I really love having the mindset of being growth minded. And I really love encouraging my moms in that of like, as long as we always remain a student, life will be really beautiful. And I think there is this societal pressure of like mastering motherhood. Like you should feel confident. And like, if even to the judgmental aspect, when you saw like a kid throwing a fit and you'd be like, oh, I would never do that, of being like, oh, I'm actually like, there must be something going on. There must be something greater. There must be facts about this, where I really encourage my moms of like, become a student of yourself, become a student of other mothers, become a student of the environment you're around, because life is going to continue to evolve. Motherhood is one of the big ones that will catapult it for you, that you're going to have to evolve pretty quickly. But if you become a student of yourself, most likely the things that you're struggling with in motherhood are the healing aspects from your childhood that you really want to face. And it's those beautiful things and moments that like you're giving an opportunity to have learned from your own children in a safe space and safe environment to do so. But if we can just, again, empower you in being that student and not shaming you for different things, then motherhood's going to be a lot easier. And that's really like our hope in these times. Like that's what I had a mom validate me in the first walk, is I was experiencing phantom cries and I had so much shame for having so much anxiety. And she was like, oh, that's so normal. I had crazy thoughts that I thought I was going to drop my son down the stairs. And I was like, oh, like there's things of just like having that I'm going to be a student of myself and others, and motherhood looks no different than that, is really good. And I think if we could take the shame off culture, we could take the shame off family pressure, we could take the shame off all of that, becoming a mom is like so much better than you think,
Totally. Totally. But again, to your point about social media, sometimes when you're right, so when social media is used for good, it can be powerful and it can bring together people in beautiful ways. And on the flip side, when social media is not used correctly, you get into a comparison cycle where you wonder, how is this woman possibly being a mom of, one to multiple children, plus this, plus that, having all these things. And it is very hard for moms to not sneak into a comparison creep. I mean, is that a theme that you hear often when you're talking to moms?
I actually had an interesting question. I had this conversation with a friend who isn't a mom recently, just on the competitive culture of females in general, of how the generation that we grew up in of Victoria's Secret models and the thigh gap, like even just visual comparison and competition aspects that started so young. And then our society kind of being, in our generation, being the first ones to even go into healing and therapy and having permission to have emotions. It may have swung a little too hard, and sometimes there needs to be a push through the like secondary emotion and getting into the root. But that kind of overlining competition of women, the comparison of women, I feel like has been around since we were children. And it's definitely out there. Like, one of the things I really joke with my moms is how all of my cities are so different. Like, my biggest thing that I look for in an ambassador who leads my city isn't that they're the coolest, the smartest, whatever. My biggest thing is, are they a leader? Because if they can lead, that means there's humility. That means that there's care. That means all of this different type of stuff. And that's someone who can change an environment. But if there are these alternative motives of getting personal validation, getting that popularity thing, you are going to create an environment of mean girls, competition, comparison, and ultimately hurt and pain. So yes, I can 1,000% say there is that dialogue still going. That is something I deal with through community feedback every week of getting emails saying, hey, like, this mom is really mean, or there's gossip, or there's slander. And I always then go into, like, I want to seek to understand. So my biggest thing that changed my life is giving myself grace for the person that I was, and then my healing process, and knowing I did actions and made decisions out of pain and protection because that was how I knew to keep myself safe versus healing through all those things. So when I do hear the comparison or the competition or all of those things, I choose to take the stance of there must be a lot of pain behind that for someone to make those decisions. And someone must be really insecure if they want to say those things verbally or takes that stance or whatever that may be, because that's not a natural instinct. That's a protective instinct. So it's out there. It's rampant and it's still going, but it's something that I choose just to humanize of it's not a bad thing that's happening. It's a revealer that there's something happening. And then one of the things I instill in all of my ambassadors is we're not here to compete. We are here to complete. And if there is a competition root in you or a comparison root in you, let's figure out why, because it's not a community issue. It's an individual issue. And that's where then if something does come up that, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a therapist, I didn't go to school for it, and can lead people of like, this is a great experience for you to go find professional help, to have someone to help walk you through that. But we're going to lay a hard line that that's not acceptable. And it's not the other person's problem that you have negative feelings or emotions towards them, which I feel like has brought a lot of like healing for our moms of like coming in and being like, oh, like, that's not this. And I do, like, my cities, if I live in Orange County and every one of my ambassadors here wear different clothes, have different lifestyles, have all of that. So if I get a mom that comes to my walk, I live in Newport Beach in Orange County, where you do see a very different lifestyle. And if I have a mom who maybe is a little more of a homemaker, likes the slower pace of life, instead of telling her like, no, you need to keep showing up to here, I'm going to guide her to her people and her community so she can feel that empowerment in motherhood versus trying to make her fit into a box that her neighborhood is telling her she needs to be in, which has been the beautiful part of our growth and expansion is we have a community and a mom for everyone.
I love it. Jamie, I want to ask you a random question. It's kind of a pivot a bit, but what's your favorite thing about being a mom?
So my son will turn 3 in April, and I did not know you can be born with like your personality traits, but he was born with comedic humor. This little boy knows he's funny. He knows how to throw a joke. He knows how to hit a punchline. And he is my favorite person. Like every mom probably says this about their children of like, oh, my child's the best. I love them so much. But like, my child is actually the funniest person I've ever met organically. Like, he was born with it. And it is one of my favorite things because he just belly laughs. And anyone who has heard a toddler or baby laugh hysterically has experienced like pure blissful joy. And that is
Totally.
by far my favorite thing. He's also a boy, where 80% of his jokes have to do with like toots or like farts and all this stuff. And he thinks it's hilarious. And I just feed into it. I love to
So
make him
cute.
feel that he's smart and he's powerful and that he's confident and not to be shamed of what he thinks is funny, you know? So that by far is my favorite thing because we just laugh all day long and it's the best.
Yeah. I love that that's what you chose to go with. I feel like there's other things you could say, of course. And, people love to talk about how hard motherhood is, and it is. It's so hard, right? It's so demanding. But you smile more and you laugh harder than you'll ever laugh or smile because you just can't believe what comes out of these little people's mouths that you didn't you they're not modeling after you. It's just who they are. I mean, maybe a little bit modeling after you, but not always. All right, fun little question for you as well here. We'll do like a quick fill in the blank. The future of motherhood is
Hmm. The future of motherhood is safety. And I say that because there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of turns, and from the moment you become pregnant to the future. And I want motherhood to feel safe and motherhood to feel like your nervous system can rest and relax because we are made to do this. Women's bodies are made to do this. Our hormones, our DNA, the way our brains think. So just like taking the big breath, the big relaxation, and like the future of motherhood is safe. Like
yeah.
there's so much to just come into. And I really would love to see that be a bigger conversation of like, you can take a deep breath because you are made to do this.
It's a really beautiful perspective. It's like as overwhelming as it all is. Like it's almost like God designed you to do this, and you
Mhm.
are. As I see this on social media, it's not my line. Like you are made perfectly to be the mom for this child that you have, no matter who they are, and no matter how many challenges come with that child. You are perfectly designed to be this person's mother. I think that's really beautiful. And then lastly, Jamie, I'd love for you to share, like you mentioned before, 300 cities, a booming list, thousands of moms that show up on a weekly basis. It's so impressive. And I am very confident that there are people going to be listening saying, well, how do I know if there's a walk in my city, or how do I become an ambassador? So please, please, please share with everyone about how they can get involved with Mom Walk Collective and to start getting some of the benefits that you've helped cultivate.
Yeah, this is the most exciting thing. So, our website is our biggest directory of where to find everything. So, if you go to the momwalkcollective.com, we have a walk finder there. So, you can type in your zip code and it will pull up a pin that then will forward you to that local city's Instagram account. Each city posts their own calendar at the beginning of every month, and every city is required to host 2 free walks/gathering a month. So you always have 2 free experiences to go and experience and have fun. If we don't have one near you, also on our website, we have an ambassador application form, and we'll send you an email on the first of every month to kind of walk you through onboarding. Like I said, we're really looking for someone who wants to serve and lead in their city, not a popularity contest, not someone who wants like a massive thing. We're really looking for people who want to create impact. So if that's something that seems exciting for you, please, please, please apply. And if you want to find what we're doing on a big global level, our Instagram is our best. So it is the Mom Walk Co. on Instagram. You'll see all of the fun things happening there. And I just encourage you guys, you're nervous or like there's something in you, like meeting mom friends for the first time and going out in public, like it's awkward. I'm going to tell you guys now, it's awkward for everyone. Like we all understand.
Yeah.
I also want to encourage you that if you make eye contact with a mom at the first walk you go to and you feel stuck talking to her, everyone's there to make friends. So there is no shame that if you go to a walk, you can excuse yourself from a conversation and let everyone know, like, hey, I'm here to meet as many people as possible. So great meeting you. So don't feel like if you go to one walk, you're stuck, or if you go to one walk, you have to make every. You're catch free. Come when you can, meet as many people as possible, and hopefully find your village or just get a little dose of empowerment to be a mom. So check out our website, themomwalkcollective.com, or check out our Instagram, themomwalkco, and hopefully can get you guys connected and plugged in.
I love it. And as someone that has experienced a mom walk directly, specifically, I went down to Florida to meet with one of your mom walk groups. And I described it to my husband as a stampede of strollers. Like, it was the most beautiful thing to just slowly see an emergence of women with their strollers. Most of them were also pregnant. And it was crazy to me, Jamie. So much of what you articulated is so true about how quickly people felt comfortable talking to one another. A lot of people knew each other, but a lot of people did not know each other. I didn't know anybody. And I walked away feeling like I had a few new friendships. And here I was, not even living in the city that these women live in. And it really is of such a powerful example of really small gestures, small changes in your schedule to incorporate a walk like this, once or twice a month can make a huge difference in your overall mental outlook on these things. I always say, like, as moms, like, you're not designed to do this alone.
Mhm.
Like, if you look back in civilization, we didn't mom alone. We didn't mom by ourselves. We mommed alongside of other people in villages. And so what you're doing in so many ways is just bringing us back to those roots. And like you said before, not necessarily creating something brand new, but almost just reemerging or recreating these things that we know are already so natural to who we are as moms. Like, we need that. So, I'm such a huge fan of what y'all are doing. And I encourage everyone to go to the website, to Jamie's Instagram to find out more. And I'm just so excited to see the impact that you have on the future generation of moms, Jamie. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.